Now, we all have a bike that we love, and this is the bike that I love. Might not be the fastest bike ever, but it certainly puts a bigger smile on my face than any other bike that I've ever ridden. So, what's prompted me to build this bike? Well, I had a friend who bought a Cotic Solaris 29-incher, and he was going to build this up. He took it into a bike shop. The bike shop said that there was a crack on the frame down by the wishbone here at the back. Now, I had a look at it and just said, no crack. That's just a bit of an untidy weld, really. Strong, but just a bit untidy. So he decided to believe the bike shop mechanic rather than a fully trained engineer with over 30 odd years experience, and he decided not to build this up. So I says, well, I'll buy it off you. How much do you want? 50 quid. So got myself a nice frame, £50, and I thought, what shall I do with it? Now, obviously comparing it, you can't see the BFE here, comparing it to the BFE, it's the same colour, and I just thought, why not replicate the BFE but with larger wheel sizes? And in doing that, I thought I'd see what sort of components I could get for it. Now, my BFE's got Revelations, so I thought, right, get myself a pair of Revelations if I can get my hands on some new. So went to Bike Discount, got myself a brand new pair of Revelations, 150mm travel. Yeah, bigger 35mm stanchions, which should be nicer. The ones on my BFE here are the 32mm, tapered head tube. Bob's your uncle. Now, these themselves, I need to check on my phone for the cost of these. Got a price of all the bits here that I'm using to make up the bike. So this one here, yeah, these forks were just a smidge under £182 from, I've just told you the name and I forgot it already, Bike Discount in Germany. But obviously with it coming over to the UK, there was VAT that had to be paid on top of these, and there was also duty. So I ended up paying another £72 on top of the £183 that I'd spent. So it came to £254 for a pair of brand new Revelations, which I don't think is too bad. So when it came to the seat post, I was lucky enough to get this off a guy who lives fairly locally and who services reverb dropper posts. Got this for £50. This is a 150mm stroke dropper post, and it's got the inline or bottom mount actuation. So the frame I've got, which is the sole, it doesn't actually cater internal routing for the dropper. So what I'll do for that is I'll drill a few holes in it to route the cable through and make myself a little gland for the cable it's tube, I guess, on this, for the tube to be guided through. So I'll show you that in the process of what I'm going to be doing during the build. Now, the other thing I wanted to do was make my sole a bit slacker, because the BFE is a couple of degrees slacker than the sole, even though it all appears to have the same sort of gusseting and whatever along the top tube. So I've also got myself a 2-degree angle set from Superstar Components, so that'll slacken out my front end an extra 2 degrees, and slacken it out that 2 degrees, I think that will mean that we can get away with the 150mm fork as opposed to the 120-130mm fork that the Solaris normally comes with. So I got that was £60. So I've got my frame, I've got my forks, I've got my seat post in there, and the next thing that we really want to look at is the wheels. Now, for the remainder of the components you're going to see on this, I got them all from China. I just thought to myself, I'm going to do a little AliExpress experiment on this bike. So if we look at a lot of the mountain bike bits that we can get, they generally come from China anyway, even if it's from RockShox or SRAM or any of the other big companies that you deal with. So I thought what I'd do is I'd source Chinese components, ones that have had reasonably good reviews on YouTube, put them on and just see how good they are compared to the original parts. So with the wheels, I went for a company called Kuza. Now, they provided me a set of wheels, and it's a set that's not so easy to come by, so it was a custom set of wheels. Because of the nature of the frame that I've got, it needs a quick release 135 rear wheel, and it needs a 110 boost front wheel for the forks that I've got. Now, naturally, that's not a combination you readily come across. So I had to get these made specifically. I placed the order. They were shipped within a day, due to arrive in a month. Actually took 2 months for them to get here. But they came very well packaged. On this box as well, it had all sorts of coverings around the outside and protection, and I was really impressed with how well it was packaged and how secure the wheels were when they're being transported. So I'm just taking the wheels out now. We have a number of spare spokes and a quick release for the back wheel. And then here we have the wheels themselves. Now, I went for the grey hubs. And I'll come a bit closer just to show you them. I'll take this one out of the wrapping, so you can see we've got nice anodized aluminium hubs. We have bearings in there, run as freely as any other wheel you would expect, with them being cartridge bearings. We've got nice Sun Durock rims. These are the Durock 30, which are wide enough but not too wide. The purpose of this bike is it's not going to be too hardcore. It's just going to be for trail and light sort of not light off-road stuff, but just going down a few downhill tracks and stuff like that at a steady pace. The spokes themselves are straight gauge. You could pay an extra $20 for buttered spokes. In reality, I perhaps should have done that, but as it is, I'm happy with it. All the spokes are tightened up really well. I mean, we'll see how well that holds up when it's out on the trails. But a really light, really nicely made set of rims already with the tape in for a tubeless setup. So tubeless ready, good quality CNC hubs on aluminium rims. Impressed with those. Well, you're probably wondering how much them wheels cost. Now, for them wheels to be built and delivered, there's no duty on them, everything was paid up front, all the VAT and everything, they came to £152.58. So for a set of custom made wheels, that's a bargain. If you can wait, and if they do prove to be good wheels, then I think that's a nice way of getting a set of decent wheels on the cheap. So following on from the wheels, let's have a look at what else we've got. So here we come, cranks. Now, I've gone for these EvoSid cranks. I bought a pair of these previously that was to go on this bike, but I needed a new set of cranks for me Cotic, so I actually put them on my Cotic so you can see them on the bike here. So here we go, really nice crank, looks beautiful. I haven't had any problems with it so far while riding. But then again, I haven't put a lot of miles onto it, so time will tell about exactly how good these cranks are. So impressed with them. After I put them on here, I had no problem getting another set for the Solaris build, which I have here. Now, the first set I got came with a bottom bracket included, but that bottom bracket is really just designed for a 68mm wide bottom bracket cup, and the spaces you get with it meant it was too tight and it would lock up when I fitted it. But for me, with a 3D printer, I just managed to print a a spacer of the correct size, and that solved the problem. However, I didn't want to go through the same rigmarole this time, so I ordered a separate bottom bracket that didn't have excessive protrusion on the outside of the bearings here, and hopefully this should fit straight in and give me no problems. Pop them in. So I've got that with a 32mm chainring, and that should be quite a nice setup. Price wise, we are looking at, for the cranks themselves, I think they were just over 50 quid. So the cranks were £51.30, the bottom bracket was £12.34. So again, quite a bargain for what you're getting there, and I think you'll agree. The look of the business. Next, we have the brakes coming in at, let's have a look at the prices. £61.67 for the brakes themselves, a pair of brakes, and the discs £19.85. So just over 20 quid. Not just over 20 quid, just over 80 quid. That's not too bad. And what we have is some nice CNC machined 4-pot brakes. So you can see the handles there. You might have seen reviews for these on the web. I noticed I've had a good few positive reviews from the likes of GMBN channel, and that's the actual caliper itself. Very reminiscent of like a Hope brake, and they're supposed to be very good for the money. I suppose if you're paying 500 quid for a set of Hopes and you're paying 60 odd quid for this, it's a massive difference. And then the other thing I've done is just a couple of floating disc brake rotors again, so they came to 20 quid for the two of them. I've gone for a 180 on the front and a 160 on the back. Now all that leaves us is the finishing kit really. So saddle, do all this with my phone out so I can just look at the prices quickly. Saddle, £6.66. I like, well, my favourite saddle is the Madison Flux, and this is a very similar shape to that. It's got a cutout in the middle, which I wasn't too bothered about or not. So I bought that. Yes, it's made out of vinyl. Vinyl's all the rage now, isn't it? All these people saying that car interiors out of leatherette, or was it Tesla say, vegan leather. It's vinyl, mate. It's vinyl. It's what was in all the cars in the 70s. So yeah, I've got a vinyl cover on that, and to be fair, that looks as if it's put together really well. It's as if it's like welted underneath here. I mean, how robust it'll be, I don't know, but if it's comfortable for £6.66, I don't really care with that. Then, matching the brown saddle, I have the grips. I think the grips are about 4 quid, so let's have a look at that. Yeah, grips at £4 and 4 pence. So let's have a quick look at them. You can see there, these are supposedly Audi grips or ODI, whatever it is. In all honesty, they're a bit cheap and nasty. I'll put them on to start with, but I can see me getting rid of those. I quite like the race face grips, so I could see me ditching these and getting the race face ones, but I'll not slag them off now. I'll give them a go. Plastic clamps, so all feels a bit yuck, but yeah, we'll see how we get on with those. Next, the stem. I've gone for a nice short stem. I think we're looking at 35mm for this, and that is £9.14. Now, I think here in the UK you couldn't get the metal to make that for £9.14. And it's lovely, really. A few little sharp edges that I'll just go over with a file before I use it, but no, very impressed with that. Nice and lightweight, and certainly looks sturdy enough to me. I can't see that failing. Next we come on to the bell. The most essential part of any bike, really. So how much are we looking for this? I think this was a couple of quid. £2.20 I'm going to say. Let's check the price. Look at the price. £2.60, so a bit more than I said, but just sits on the handlebar and rings. Next we got the pedals. Plastic Fantastic Rock Bros, £13.89, which is a good price for a plastic pedal. And I quite like this. It seems to dip in the middle there, so you've got enough, you've got area for your foot to go down into and get the grip on the studs there. So they look quite nice. I've got quite high hopes of them, so that's not bad. Less than 14 quid a pair. Then stem spacers, carbon fibre, £2.20. That's where the £2.20 came from that I remembered. And a seat post clamp, £1.10. Now, I know these things feel cheap, and you kind of think for that money I'm a bit worried as to what it's going to be like, but in all honesty, I can't see where you could go wrong with that. Spot on for me. I guess the same for your spacers. Then last but not least, this little or long beauty, carbon fibre handlebar. So this is a, I don't know how you pronounce it, Deda. This was £28.89 I think, and I just fancied trying something carbon fibre. And again, I've no reason to believe that the carbon fibre stuff from China is going to be any worse than the carbon fibre stuff from elsewhere. And looking at the quality of this, it does have a lovely feel to it. It's got nice little details of grip in the middle, and it looks decent quality. If it isn't decent quality, then I'll have no teeth left, will I? But now I've high hopes of that as well. So like I say, £28.89 was it? £28.48. £28.48 for that. So nice carbon buy. So that gives you an idea of all the things I've bought from my bike here. Now, the main thing we're missing is the drivetrain. So the rear sprockets, rear mech, shifters. Now, I have a bike currently that has a 10-speed drivetrain on it, and that's exactly what I'm going to use on this. So I'm going to use my old Z rear mech 10-speed, and I think I get a 42 maximum tooth size on that. And yeah, just run that through to some, I think I've got LXS shifters, Z rear mech, and that'll be it. So come back to me, keep tuned, and I'll show you how the bike's going and give you videos of it at different stages along the way. Thanks for watching.